Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Thursday. That means Shades of Bravo. And I'm so lucky because I have my friend here, Ryan Bailey, to talk about Vanderpump Rules in the Valley. Ryan, you're the expert. I'm so glad you're
I
here.
so sad that I'm this is I mean truly this is really probably the only thing that I might be an expert on, and that's like the saddest thing to be an expert
Uh,
on, but it is truly weird. Like I was on I was on Scheana's podcast yesterday. I think it comes out
Stop.
Friday. It comes out
Mm,
Friday. And I
wow.
was, but it's like I was having these moments where I was explaining the show to Scheana, and
Oh,
really, like I would be like, Scheana, you know the joke comes out at the reunion, right? And I'm like, oh, of course you do. You're Scheana. Like it's so interesting to look at these shows from a different perspective, and then to like the other when we were at Jax's bar to actually see them in person and have a
yeah.
conversation with them. And then you're like, well, the show presents it this way. You talk to them, they present it another way. And then all of us podcasters and Reddit threads and Instagram posts, it's all presented another way. So it's like what I've kind of deemed as 360 viewing that can be really exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're in such an age now, like when Vanderpump Rules first started, like if we wanted to get at somebody, we could really send them a tweet,
Yeah.
and that's really it. And now it's like these people don't even like walk out of their house without us knowing what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean that's why I think it's so hard for production. I've grown accustomed to thinking that the show is almost starting to be the least entertaining thing about the whole production because there's
Mm.
so many other opportunities. I mean, people will listen to my show or your show and I'll get the comment sometimes which blows me away. I don't even watch the show anymore. I'll just listen to
Yeah.
your podcast. And that blows me away because I'm like, why would you ever I mean, like you
Yes.
got to see it you got to get your eyes on this thing, but it's a really weird thing that they didn't have to deal with pre-social media, and I sometimes long for those days or romanticize those days because it can all be too much. Like
Yeah.
you wake up in the morning and there's like 30 new things that you're being sent and having to go through, and it's I don't know, like I don't know if this is like enjoyable sometimes.
Um, Speaking of that, so was it Monday was tax day, right? And we
Yeah.
woke up on tax day to all this Bravo news. I mean, first of all, I dip in and out of Miami. I love Miami, but the whole Alexia and Todd thing, I was like, is Adriana always right? Because I hate
Yeah.
Adriana.
See, I love Adriana. I feel like I know I'm in a minority of loving Adriana, but she makes things happen. Like, and by the way, like, yeah, she does spit truth. It's just that you don't like the package in which she's spitting truth. But it's also
True.
high. It's almost impossible these days to have the moral high ground on any of these shows. Like nobody has the moral high ground. So it's interesting even on Vanderpump Rules for like Lala to like kind of claim that, or even Racquel or Rachel to like claim you have like some kind of moral high ground and you're now you're now telling people how this is and kind of like I'm above this, and I think that's really hard. But Adriana I think is great. But the Todd Alexia divorce I was shocked by, but then in classic Bravo fashion, I'm now reading rumors of this is a setup, they're never going to file, this is for a storyline, and I'm like, Alexia doesn't need a storyline. I think Alexia to me is the Teresa of Miami. She does not
Yeah.
need, like, I feel like she doesn't need some fake storyline. I think she's entertaining as is. And sometimes I just want us as an audience just to be like, it is what it is. This is what
Yes.
they're unfortunately getting a divorce. It's not without, it's in the realm of possibility. Like I can understand why they would potentially get a divorce. Can't we just believe something for once?
Yeah, it's sort of like we do with 90 Day. Like some of the people are so abhorrent in real life, and then we're like, okay, well, we're just recapping what's on our screen, right? So we're
Yeah,
just going to
exactly.
talk about
Yeah.
what happened on this
Yes.
episode.
It
I
would be
don't need
so
to talk
easy.
this person, that person, like domestic violence or getting deported
But
or
that
all these horrible things that are happening, but we have to just talk about what's on our screen. Yes, we're aware of these things,
But
you
Mary
know?
Payne, that's what it's turned into, is that it's
Right.
not only that, you have to now go back decades. You have to look at their criminal records. You have to look at, and I think sometimes people are like, why didn't the show do a better job at vetting them? And I'm like, maybe they did. Maybe they do know. Maybe this is
Right.
part of like, they do want trouble. Like, I mean, so it is interesting, but I think we have all just turned into producers ourselves. So we are
Yeah.
producing content nonstop. And I don't even just mean me and you, but just the general viewer. They're the
Yeah.
ones like digging and like bringing things to light. And sometimes it's really good. And sometimes I just think it confuses everything. And in 90 Day, I don't even know how you do it.
Well, thank you.
I mean, it's just, I mean, I got to tell you, I haven't even watched the last couple of episodes of this current 90 Day just because
Mm.
it's like soap operas. I always know it'll be there and I'll
Yeah.
probably be able to catch up real easily.
Yes,
Like,
it's
oh,
yes.
Gino's still fighting. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, what are Gino and Jasmine fighting about
Yeah.
this week? Yes, totally. And why do we have to keep seeing them season after season? Like let's get it a break. Let's miss them for a minute. Let's take a minute. Let's let them go for a season. We don't need to follow their every
Yes.
move. But I'm sure next season they'll be on Last Resort, which is the therapy one, and then they'll get divorced, and then they'll both be on Single Life. Like we're never getting rid of them. We're
Wait
never
till
getting rid of them.
they involve Love After Lockup and they like get the prison 90 Day pipeline. Like they find
Well,
some way.
let me tell you about a show that I'm sure you didn't watch. It was on Lifetime. It was called Prison Brides, and it was presented as sort of a love after a love during lockup. But then when when we started watching it, because I covered it on the $10 level of Patreon, I was like, no, this is a 90-day love after lockup crossover because it was women in other countries dating and marrying these guys in prison in the US. All of these women are gorgeous women with accents, and you can't get a guy locally. You got to go to the Texas prison system or the Michigan prison
Oh,
system to find a
yeah, that
guy
makes
in jail
sense.
for 40 years for murder.
Yeah.
What?
Like I can understand people like actively targeting dating people on Vanderpump Rules. Like even Tom Sandoval, I can still understand it. But the prison system, and I think even some of the 90 Day couples is where I draw like a line where I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, like there's gotta be, you gotta have some rules for yourself. And that's what's so like sad, funny, and entertaining to watch on these shows is that these are people that have decided that it's just not gonna work in any sort of normal way for them. And they need to
Right.
go like drastic measures need to be taken.
It's incredible. But I got to tell you that, I always love talking to you. And if you guys listen to Ingrid and I did a recap of our whole LA trip. We did on the first night there, see Ryan at Jax's bar. We talked to Kristen and her friend Zach that's on the show. That was really fun. Kristen just immediately started giving Ingrid all these compliments. And I was like, okay, well, what about me? But that's okay. Because Ingrid is, so beautiful. And they were there. And then Jax was there. He bussed our table.
He was bouncing around. Yeah.
Yeah, he was bouncing around. And Brittany showed up, sat in the little cast area. They didn't seem to interact too much, but they were together.
Yeah.
And it was funny when we were leaving, because when we were leaving, we were like, what is this golf cart out here? This is wild. And then we see on the show that it's his fucking golf cart.
Mary Payne, I didn't even put that together.
Yes.
And you're saying it now. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, that's a dangerous, and I don't want to make speculation or something, but like, I don't want Jax operating any sort of vehicle. Like even that, I just feel like that's dangerous in any sort of vehicle when he's at that bar, like
If he's
Uber.
Yeah, yeah. So I think he's trying to do like a little nudge, nudge, wink, wink to the Tom's, sidecar motorcycle. But he did it with a golf cart I don't know how far his house is. Unless it's directly behind that bar, he does not need to be driving a golf cart on the streets of the valley.
It's not far. It's not,
It's a busy road.
it isn't far, but it is a busy. Ventura Boulevard is one of the busiest roads in the valley. So I would just be very cautious if I was Jax, because
Yes.
that's all he needs at this point is some sort of accident or some sort of situation where he's
Moving
in
violation.
some other. Yeah. I mean, you just
yeah.
don't need that. But at the same time, when you said that, that's all I'm picturing now is waking up tomorrow to a TMZ headline of like, Jax
Yeah.
Taylor arrested at his, like that scares me now.
Yeah. Yeah. And he did a couple of weeks ago. So it was between this and when I was in LA. So it's been the last few weeks. It was a Tuesday night. It was the same situation that we saw with the cast sitting in the middle in those couches with all the tables and stuff around with 4,000 TVs. And he's with a microphone. Somebody gave him a microphone and he's just narrating and saying things like, it's all scripted. Vanderpump Rules is all scripted. Not when I was on it.
Yeah. Back in my day, it was real.
But then the minute I left, it became a scripted program. Like, what?
Yeah.
You're saying all the seasons you were on it, not scripted, totally real. The very next season they changed it to scripted programming and we just haven't figured it out.
But
Wow.
but the thing that's frustrating, it's to my point earlier, is that they give him a mic. This winds up on social media, so this
Yeah.
gets passed around. And then last week on Jackson Brittany's podcast, which they still do, he's like, "Hey, you guys know me. I'm an idiot. I say things out of anger. In no way is Vanderpump Rules fake. I was just acting out." Like he had to give a full, that to me, that was a scripted apology. But this is
Mm.
what I'm talking about. It's like this ecosystem that we keep going. Like the show is sometimes the least entertaining thing because they just manufacture drama out of their real lives all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. Totally. I watched that and I was like, oh my gosh. It's like, what if Ryan and I were sitting there when he said that? We would be like, two podcasters got the scoop. We were sitting
Oh
right
yeah, I
there.
mean, like they didn't give him a mic the night we were there. In fact, that was
No.
the saddest thing is you guys left, and I hung around for another 20 minutes, I think, because I was trying to get him to bus the pretzel with the Mama's cheese because
We were sitting there. We were waiting for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was kind of busting, like he was running all around, and he busted one time. So I thought, oh, this will be a funny video if I shoot the pretzel and then I pan up and it's Jax Taylor, and I'll be like, the service sucks here, or something funny like that.
Yeah.
And he was just, I mean, he was bouncing all around. He was
No,
bouncing all around. Then I was like, I'm literally standing in front of a half-eaten pretzel. Like this is like the saddest thing that I potentially have ever done in my life, just waiting for Jax Taylor to do a video.
we did have a good time and the food was good. We can vouch for the beer cheese. I thought it was delish.
Pricier than it needs to be for the
Oh, okay.
pretzel. The
Well,
pretzel,
the presentation was lovely.
the presentation is it's a huge board, a lot of
Yeah.
celery.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they really do try. They do try, but $10 for a Bud Light is to me
Oh.
egregious.
Oh, see, I was on that trip. I was the start of my trip of just like throw all money at this trip. By the time I got back, it's like I've been at BravoCon. I was just like so broke because like everything in LA is expensive. You
Yeah,
have to Uber. Every Uber was 50, $60. I was like, oh my, yeah. I don't even know if
yeah.
next time I should rent a car, it would be less, but then I have to figure out how to park. That's the whole thing. That's the
No,
whole thing. But I did
it's
love seeing
expensive.
you. And
Yeah.
and then on our last night, we went to Schwartz and Sandy's, which was another Tuesday night.
I'm like,
And
oh, so
Sandoval
did you
was
talk to
there.
Sandoval?
No, I did not. I
Good,
did not. I did.
good. Have some good ethics, morals.
I walked by him to go to the bathroom, and I had high hopes for the bathroom. They talked about it so much on the show, and the bathroom was just a
It's
bathroom.
yeah. It's just he's like all hopped up on that lighted area with the mirror.
Us-
And yeah,
is-
but it's small. It's smaller than you expected, right?
The bar itself is,
Yeah.
no, I'd say the restaurant and bar was about the size I expected. But our issue was, and we talked about this, was our issue was we had a 90-minute rule. So our reservation, I think, was at 7, and it was like, you have to be out of here by 8:30. And at 8:30, someone else is getting your table. And if you want to watch the show, on the screens behind the bar, then you need to make sure you get a bar stool before 8:30 because I guess the show starts at 9 or whatever was the time frame. And I was like, okay,
But there's
we're
only
not
like
here to
eight.
watch the show.
There's only like 8 or 9 bar stools though. Like there's
The
not a lot of bar
people,
stools.
when we left, they were starting up Vanderpump Rules at whatever time that is for you guys, 8 or whatever. And our 90 minutes had run out and they were starting up, the music is coming on, raise your glasses high. And everybody's like, woo, and cheering and Tom's clapping. And then literally the lady came up. She's like, your 90 minutes are up. Somebody needs this table. I was like, oh, okay. Well,
Wow.
yeah. And then
Wow.
you have to put a deposit down to make sure you don't skip out on it.
How much is the deposit?
It's like $200.
Whoa. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
Yeah, they didn't charge me because I showed up for my reservation.
I don't know if I would ever be able to watch Sandoval watch himself this season. I think that would almost be like a weird, like sadomasochistic public flogging, and the fact that we'd all have to be kind of laughing and he would be trying to laugh along, but he would be internally angry.
He doesn't
Like
get the joke. Mm-mm.
yeah, I don't think he gets it at all. I mean, this
Mm-mm.
episode is like a perfect example of what we've been
Perfect.
dealing with all season with him.
Oh God. All right. Well, let's get into this. We're just going to go kind of bullet points through what happened on
Yeah.
Vanderpump. So Vanderpump, how do you like them apples is the name of this episode. Is that because that's the name of Scheana's song?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I was
Yes. hundred
Was that the name
percent.
of
Yes,
it? Okay.
yes. Apples is the hit single by Scheana Shay. Yes.
Okay. A hit single. So we start off, this is a Scheana episode. We start off, Scheana is remaking on the 10-year anniversary. She's remaking Good as Gold. Who would have known? It's gone multi silver. I don't know what it is, but she's remaking the video and she's so excited about it. It is a bop. We can all agree. It's a great
I love
song.
it. Love it.
And there's a lot of chatter, which I know that you love this. There's a lot of chatter about the podcast. Racquel went on a podcast. There was a podcast. They never say Bethany. They never say what it was, but it was Bethany's podcast, guys. She's been
In
on a
fact, Mary
million
Payne,
since then.
we should just say it's our podcast. Like, yeah, they're referring to our podcast. They don't want to
Go back.
say our names, but they're
Yeah.
referring to us. But yeah, it's the
Yeah.
Bethany. I always call her Bethany Frankel. It's that Bethany Frankel 4-part Racquel
Yeah.
podcast that we hit like last July or August, which was one of the most terrible things I've ever listened to in my life.
It was, each episode was like 30 minutes, but it was 22 minutes of ads.
Yep.
I'm sorry that my thumbs up keeps going. I keep
No,
trying
I
to
love
put my
it.
hands down. Sorry. It was like 30 minutes, but it was 22 minutes of ads. And then you get her talking in the middle a little bit. And Bethany clearly having never watched the show or going, so there's a girl named Scheana. Tell me about that. It was horrible.
See, that's what upsets me. It's like not the fact that Bethany gets that interview. It's that like she obviously had her own axe to grind, so she's pushing a narrative that she already wants. So we don't really get the real things that we want to hear out of Racquel. We don't get
Right.
those moments, and it just frustrates me when these people get the opportunities like this. And I understand why. Bethany's a huge star and has done so much, but like put the work in. Do you know how much better that interview would have been if she had even watched that season?
Just
Like if
one
she just
season.
hadn't seen
Yeah.
clips, like that's the frustrating part about these people. And I think sometimes those are the people that get the most downloads. And it's frustrating for me as a podcaster, and I'm sure you as well, is that people that just dabble with podcasts, that's what they're listening to when there's so many better researched podcasts out there that
Yeah.
really try. Cause I'm still so curious about Rachel's narrative. Like her podcast kind of fills in the blanks, but I still feel like, man, there are so many questions I really want to know out of Racquel. But it is really great to break the fourth wall and to be meta about it of like, yeah man, let's pull the curtain back. Like we're talking about podcasts.
Yeah, I did. I do like how they're really leaning into it because they have no choice. I mean, that's their lives, right? So there's all this chatter about the podcast. So we're getting this Ariana, Scheana, Lala at the Good as Gold remix video shoot. We see Lala on drums, Ariana on backup. So she's saying, Racquel is now saying on this Bethany podcast that she and Ariana really weren't friends. So we get 1,000 clips of Racquel saying these are her best friends, her forever friends. These are her ride or die, so we get, Then she says that Scheana has a savior complex, and Racquel says on the podcast that she contributed to Sheena's house when she lived there, and Sheena's like, "Oh my God, she gave me $1,000." And she says she didn't pay for parking, cable, and she had sex in my bed, and she never stocked the toilet paper. Didn't you want to say, but what about the pins in the drawer? Did she put pins in the drawer? Yeah.
But I like the fact that she also alludes to Racquel being like a heavy bathroom user. Like, man, she went through that toilet paper. Wow.
I don't know what's going on in there. She needs to lessen up on the fiber. So then we go to James and Allie, and they're talking about the podcast. And Racquel said she never loved Tom on that podcast. And then we get the clip of her saying, yes, they were very in love. Yes, she loved him. So this is this whole, Then have you noticed now, are James and Allie now the narrators of the show?
Yeah, I mean, I always say I call people like reliable narrators, and sometimes you're put in this position of like, wow, how did this happen? I would say obviously more Allie, but Allie gets less screen time than James. I think Allie obviously is a really good influence on DJ James Kennedy, but it is interesting from seeing past seasons with DJ James Kennedy to now that like, wow, he does seem to be talking sense. He does seem to get it. And even later when we talk about that scene with Sandoval, he makes complete sense. He's able to kind of understand what's happening. Now, I think Lala wants to be a reliable narrator, but I can't, to me, she isn't. I think she wants to be, but yeah, you're exactly right. I think if anything, Allie is number one and James is following, behind her, but yeah, very.
Yeah. And it's interesting too about James, what we said earlier, there's a lot of stuff out about James and, his behavior towards Kristen and his behavior towards, Racquel. And all these things. And it's again, like, do we talk about the rumors or do we're just recapping what's on our screen, you know?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, that's
James
the
was,
thing. I think if we go into season 12 of Vanderpump, which we will have, eventually, James is probably going to have the hot potato again and have to answer for certain things, just because that's the nature of this show. And I will
yeah.
be curious when that happens. But I was talking to a guest this week of like, do you believe that people can change? Do you
Mm,
believe, do you believe that, I really, and it's a question that I don't know the answer to. Like I asked that of myself, like, do you believe, or do you believe that we know behavior happens, we write that person off entirely? And it's one of those really big questions that I feel is interesting. And I think that's part of the frustration with Sandoval is, obviously admitting to all of these things, but you can just tell he's truly not sorry. That's the thing, like he doesn't seem to
no.
really think he needs to ask for forgiveness. And I think that's the frustrating thing as a viewer.
I do like it when they go on Watch What Happens Live and Andy will play clips of terrible things they've done. Like, do you regret
Yeah.
it?
Well, I mean,
They're usually like,
that's it.
no,
Yeah.
no, no,
Yeah. Well,
no.
I mean, and they've all done it. This was just a
Yeah.
very big thing, but I would like to imagine that people can grow. And
Yeah.
I would like to imagine that, but reality television doesn't really promote growth a lot.
Right. Oh, Lord. So Life Without Anne, we find out that the house of Ariana and Tom is a total disaster. They didn't need us to we didn't need to tell us that. We've seen this season. Never seen so many boxes in a house.
Yeah.
Why? You guys, break
I mean,
down the
there's
boxes.
perishables. There's food laying out
Yes.
potentially in like gift boxes from like Christmas months and months ago.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, the mess from Ariana's room is slowly making its way down to the entire house.
Yeah.
And I mean, you would think, I guess Anne was really the clean person in that. But also, I think at this point, Ariana was like, knew she was moving out. Things were happening. I know she didn't even stay at that house for a lot of Dancing with the Stars. So I'm sure that house is in wild disarray at that point, regardless. But
Yeah.
really weird to see.
They need a house cleaner, not an assistant.
Yeah.
Like,
By the way, just a
like
normal house cleaner would do
a
it.
house
Like,
cleaner.
yeah.
Yes. Just that's not an assistant's job, by the way.
Well, by the
So
way, just imagine all of the laxative pills laying around. I mean, we had the dog Maya getting into Sandoval's laxative collection and like swallowing 500 laxative pills. Like that thing. I mean, they just need to not leave things around like that.
yeah, how about a chicken skewer? Take it to the trash. Just take it to the trash. It's just right there. In our house, I've got like lots of, trash cans with lids, and the dogs haven't figured out how to press that little pedal yet. And once they do, I got to go to something else. So now we're over at Schwartz's apartment. Now, why does Schwartz have like a either giant dog bed or giant air mattress on the floor next to his couch? What was that about?
I think it's obvious. I think it's a dog bed, but I love the fact. I mean, we're talking
His
about a
dogs are
metaphor.
tiny.
But talking about a metaphor, I love that he was laying on it. He's the ultimate dog potentially, and that was his bed. No, I think he seems like that guy of like more comfort. I'll give them the biggest dog bed, even though they're tiny. I think that's 100% a dog bed, unless
Okay.
that's where he made Joe sleep.
I think she had a guest room. But
Yeah.
it is, the dogs like a small space. They like to be tight in their space. That's why you can put them in a crate and stuff. So he read the
But I
wrong
don't.
dog
But
training
but
book.
Mary Payne, I don't think Schwartz is like thinking in that way. I think he's
Okay.
thinking of like the bigger the better, of like more comfort. Like I don't think he's legitimately thinking about things in correct ways. We see
He
that.
might be thinking, I could lay on this bed and snuggle with them.
Yeah, exactly. We see that looks like his favorite place to lay.
I know. Him and that hair. So Sandoval comes over and
Well,
chats with
he's like I like he's like, what's up, dude? Oh, what's up, dude? Like I like that he's all like sad. Oh, listen to a podcast, dude. Like it's like all sad sound of
so
all.
sad. And I can't wait to listen to Amy Phillips talk about this because, she plays Sandoval as like an angry teenager with a retainer.
Oh, really?
So it's like, go ahead, mama. I don't want to do it. Go ahead. That's how she plays him. And it's so funny because it's so true. So he's like trying to play the victim and he's like, yeah, like I'm making all these changes to myself and I can't believe Rachel thinks she got it the worst. Schwartz is like, well, you got it pretty bad, both of you. And like, God, it's not a competition. You're both terrible people. Both terrible people.
I
So
thought he was like more sad that there was just he's like, the amount of ads I had to listen to was insane. It was so sad. It was like half ads.
It's
Oh
like,
my
is there
God.
an ad-free episode? Can I
Yeah.
pay $5?
But once again, it's like, it was so funny that he's once again admitting that it's like, I did so many things for her. I was clean. Like, it's like, we're always told, like, do things for yourself, man. Like make sure you're good and don't do anything for somebody else. And this was the whole
Yeah,
fallacy of this relationship
yeah,
anyways, was
yeah.
that don't like position this as love when like you were, I mean, in the moment, just not thinking even with the right head at all. So this isn't like start to admit. And I want to point out at this time, he was still sleeping with other people. He was out
Oh,
there dating. It wasn't like,
he just
oh,
went to
dude,
singles night like 2
yes,
nights
he was like,
ago.
he's not saving himself for Racquel. Like he's not
Right.
like, so he's like, oh, dude, like that's the funny thing. It's not like he was like locked away in some like, virginity purity closet. Like he was out there actively hooking up with people. So it
Yeah.
is rich when he's like, like I'm like, so what does love mean to Sandoval? Love means just a thought, but I can physically still act out quote unquote love with as many girls as I want.
Right, because she's not here. So what is she? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, to go through all that and not give it a shot. Like, what was it for? I'll do anything for her, man. And then he's like, "Ugh!" And Schwartz is like, it's over, man. It's been over. I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
bet
all
there's
right.
For Schwartz to be the smart one, and he's just
All
like,
right,
I gotta tell you again, man, it's been over, dude. Like the fact that
dude.
and I know that that friendship is there, and when your friend is just not thinking clearly,
Yeah.
and you're just like, dude, we can all see it, and the fact that you can't. I mean, kudos to Schwartz for like legitimately hanging in there as a friend, but it is interesting to watch because Sandoval just doesn't seem to get it. And I think in his head,
No,
he's
he doesn't
literally
get it.
thinking, if I can keep like doubling down that this was love, this absolves me of my initial sins.
Yeah. And also,
This is
if
like
we end
Romeo
up
and Juliet.
together, yeah, if we end up together in the end, it would have all been worth it.
Yes,
And
exactly. Because that's
she's ruined that plan.
well, and exactly, this is what he said in the New York Times interview. He's literally directing scenes in his head. So in his head, even though he made this massive mistake, in his head, he sees a storyline where it's them against the world. And in some way, that will be this kind of beautiful story. Like he sees it. Like I guarantee you, he sees this scene in his head. He sees
Yeah.
this season in his head with her. And for him, she fumbled his bag. She
Yes.
made this hard for him to do the narration that he wanted and had in his head.
Yes, totally, totally, totally. So now we're at Tom Tom. Tom Tom brunch is going to be a thing. And I noticed when I was in LA that they put that pump sign right up next to Tom
It's
Tom. And
too
I'm like,
much. Like, don't do it. It's
why?
so confusing. I mean, just let Tom put it in his backyard at his like single, pool, like hump
Agree.
fest. Yeah.
Agree. I don't understand why they had to put that sign up. I was like, is it because like,
It's
oh,
tacky. It's too
we paid
much.
we paid this money for it, so now we got to put this sign up? It's like, we get it. Stop.
Yeah.
Are we going to get Villa Blanca's sign
Villa
up
Blanca
next? It's going to go right under it. Yeah.
just looks like
R.I.P.
the horrible amount of bumper stickers on something.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like. So Tom Tom brunch is going to be a thing. They're going to lean more into the food, and they're going to keep the pump spirit alive. Everybody's going to unbutton
Thank
their
God.
shirts, and
Yeah.
um, so LVP is there, and she's like, "Who cares about this podcast with Racquel? He's late for our meeting." And she's like, she's alive. She's safe. It's been over 3 months. He should get over it. She doesn't love him. And Schwartz is like, yeah, he's in a bad place. She's like, who cares? 3 episodes ago, I cared. Now I
Yeah.
don't care. Yeah.
I mean, listen, we got a business to
Yeah.
run. Like, yeah, pull
Yeah.
your big boy pants on and let's go. I mean, we've already given this a lot of time, and people
Yeah.
are like harping on Ariana. Let's like look at this man. He's still not like getting it together. He still wants
Yeah.
to pout over the same things.
Yes, yes. So he arrives late, and she's like, you're really late. He's like, oh, I brought the pureed strawberry. And she's like, do you want to talk? You're unhappy about the podcast? What's going on? Just don't listen to it. He's like, gotta hear what people are saying about me, Lisa. Good. And he
Oh.
is just, she just looks at him like, I definitely hitched my wagon to the wrong horse. Hitched my
Yeah, I mean
horse to the wrong
that's
wagon.
what happens when you get yourself in business with men sometimes. We're idiots. Like we're lovable idiots. We're lovable idiots that make the most idiotic choices ever. So like Lisa has nobody to blame but herself, but it is hysterical that it's like I'm asking the bare minimum. Just show up on time, Tom.
Yeah.
Just show up on time.
Yeah, 45 minutes late and no bueno. So Tom explains that, Ariana finally, the lawyer's got a reply about the offer, but now he's rethinking the offer because it's been so long and blah, blah, blah. So Lala arrives for no reason whatsoever, just to an empty bar and says, I'm just going to ask Lisa if she can host my sperm donor party tomorrow. Now, you had me until you said tomorrow, because once we see this party, we're like, you didn't pull
So
this shit
fake.
together one
So
day.
this is what we're talking about in terms of, and reality shows have always done this, but this is, you gotta hire the crew. Like the crew has to know the call time. The crew gets this is all
I'm talking
planned.
about
So
the
the
party.
fact,
It's the party itself,
yes,
not even the crew. The
but
party itself would take weeks to plan.
yeah, I'm just saying that this is the stuff I hate in reality television, because
Yeah,
it's like, we don't need this. We don't even need to like pretend that you asked Ariana first. Like you
right.
always knew it was going to be at Lisa's.
Yeah, right. Totally. So now Scheana and Brock are going to help Ariana clean up her messy house. Good luck. You're going to need a box cutter and a flattening device. So then we go to Tom Sandoval and his band practicing. And oh my God, they're practicing with the smoke machine and he's wearing a dipped out shirt. So if y'all think he's not leaning in, you're wrong, because he is now wearing his own merch that he's made fun of Lala for making merch.
But I
But
don't
now
even
he's
think
made
this is his.
merch.
I don't even think this is his merch. Like I don't think he's even selling this shirt. Like he missed that kind of wave of, man. Like I don't even remember that shirt in particular on sale. But like
I don't either.
the funny thing is, for somebody complaining about money, man, he's sure decking it out for his like karaoke band. Like it's a full sound stage. They got a smoke machine going. They've got video projection. He's got in-ear monitors, which like the
Yeah.
biggest acts use. So the amount of money he pumps into this band
Yeah.
is wild. So, but it's to Tom Sandoval that it's all spectacle. It's like
Yeah.
like, hey, work on the music and then let's add all of the other stuff, the accoutrement to it. So it is kind of funny. It's like a Weird Al thing for me a little bit.
Oh. So James arrives with Hippy Dippy Doo, the dog. And he
Oh yeah,
arrives.
Hippie
and,
knows Sandoval very well. Like when he
yeah,
would be
yeah.
hooking up with Racquel, like Graham the dog would have to watch whatever went down with them
Yeah,
in
Hippy's like,
Raquel's
wait a
studio.
minute. You look
Yeah.
familiar.
Yeah.
So he arrives and James is like, yeah, here's the talk of the town, my dog. My dog. Everybody talking about what a bad dog owner I am. Here's the dog. And Sandoval's like, but dude, what about me? She's talking about me, dude. And Sandoval's like, yeah, I just want you to know that she said that she told you not to drink because she didn't think you could do it. And that's why she told you that. And James goes, well, she also said on the pod she never loved you. So I don't know.
Yeah. She said she never loved you. Like it was the weirdest, miserable dick measuring contest I've ever seen. But
Yes.
Sandoval, though, was like, well, she told me this, dude. Well, I'll just end the whack. Like he was just staring ahead. He wouldn't stare directly at DJ James Kennedy. It was so, I mean, to me, this scene deserves all of the Emmys. I thought this was amazing.
It was amazing because they're both like leaning against the wall, and James is trying to be like, she said this about you. Well, she said this about you. Well, she
Yeah.
said this about you. It was so like third grade. It was great. And then James is like, look, man, your relationship was like you fucked a lot and then it's over. So she was never in love with you. And he's like, no, dude, that wasn't it. Like, you don't even know, man.
We would talk sometimes for 5 or 6 hours, dude. The sex was a very small part, dude. He literally was like, it was a very small part. We would sometimes talk for 5 hours, dude. Like, I just love the fact, because I was like, oh, this is hysterical. Like, you're actually entertaining this argument, Sandoval, and then revealing more stupid information about, like, why this was real. This was real love. And it, like, for the DJ James Kennedy to kind of nail, like, he hit the nail on the head of, like, no, dude, it was pretty much an F fest. That's what it was. You were horny for each other, period.
Yes.
And that was the initial, like those initial stages of like any new relationship.
That's what you're
like
doing.
It is
Yes.
that feeling of euphoria,
Yeah.
but it's also really driven by a sexual chemistry that you can't wait, that eventually starts to peter out over time, which we see on a lot of other, like on The Valley. But
Yeah.
I think that's hysterical of like convincing, like, no, dude, we had the deepest, we cured cancer, dude. We like talked big things, big. You
Yeah,
wouldn't
big.
understand.
You wouldn't understand, James. You wouldn't understand. And James is like, I don't know. Your memory is messed up. You rewrite history, and I'm not opening for you at the El Rey. I've moved on.
Yeah.
Sandoval's like, you could push a button to your laptop. Yeah, I'll
What
say
did
it to
you
your
say?
face.
What did you say? Say it to my face, old man. Say it to my face. It was so funny. And on the week, what a great episode to air the week that he literally DJ'd at the biggest Coachella after party with Taylor Swift side stage. What a time. Like, what a time for this episode to come out. It's so
Yeah.
sad for Sandoval.
It is. It's so, oh God. But I love that. He's like, go push a button to your laptop. He's like, say it to my face. He's like, I
Yeah.
will. Ooh, let me
I
turn
would-
up my smoke machine.
I gotta tell you, I think DJ James Kennedy would win in a fight. I do. I think he is.
Well,
I mean,
who
they're both
won the
buff.
push-up
They're both buff.
contest? We saw the push-up contest at BravoCon.
I think it was. I mean, I blacked out. I tried to black that out. That was. Such
I was
a
on the
dark
front
moment.
row watching.
That was a dark moment in Vanderpump history.
Sandoval was in a kilt.
Yeah,
You guys, with fake tattoos all over.
But to me, that's like what's so funny about the guys is that that's essentially what we're doing just in life is just push-up contests against other men. That's it. You know, at the end of the day, it's, all of this, deep emotional torture. But at the end of the day, we just want to see if we can do more push-ups than the other guy. And I think that is hysterical. But I would pick DJ James Kennedy winning a fight because he's buff and he's also scrappy and young. And I think Sandoval is ripped, but like, we now know that Sandoval is just full of laxative pills and weird substances. So I think he looks great. I think if you like hit that guy 2 times, he would potentially just like deflate.
Yeah, he would like disintegrate like a movie.
I get so high, superstar.
So we go to the sperm donor party that was put together yesterday. Sure. And we get a Who's Your Daddy sign. And everybody cheers and claps. They pick donor number 1. Who cares? Allie does tell Katie that Lala said you're miserable and get upset easily. And Katie's like, what? What the fuck? Why is she talking behind my back instead of to my face? And I was like,
what is this, a reality show? What is she doing talking behind my back?
I was like, all right, Allie getting in there. All right. Now we see.
But by the way, I want to point out this is why Allie works, because Allie can say things like that because thus far she hasn't done any reality show sins. So she can say things like that and get away with it. She can actually drive more story and plot line. And I can't wait to see her in season 12 because she hasn't done anything that we're like, oh, that's completely out of pocket. So she can pull that off completely.
Until like next season, they're like, remember when she did that? Why is she saying things that aren't true,
Exactly.
What's for dinner? That's the question in my house every single day. Sometimes at breakfast, sometimes at lunch, but usually right around 3 o'clock. What are we having for dinner? Oh my gosh, inevitably we'll order takeout. It's easier, but oh my gosh, it's never satisfying. I feel gross about it. And I spend way too much money. So if you would rather enjoy a home-cooked meal without all that stress of planning ahead, Home Chef makes it really, really easy. I love my meal kits, and being able to have a delicious meal without all that long prep is what drew me to Home Chef over the other guys. Their meals are effortless, even for somebody like me who's not going to go on a competitive cooking show anytime soon. Whether you prefer the classic meal kits, I do. That's what I prefer. They have pre-portioned ingredients, easy instructions, the speedy recipes, sometimes ready in less than 30 minutes. They have oven-ready kits with the pre-chopped ingredients, or you can get these quick microwave meals that assemble in minutes. Home Chef has you and the entire family covered for delicious meals without the hassle. They have over 30 options a week that serves a variety of dietary needs. So you don't have to worry about what to make ahead of time, or this one likes this or this one doesn't like that. Not only is it convenient, but it's economical too. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 a month on groceries. They even have a delicious kid-friendly family menu with 18 new options each week. Is picky eater approved and takes that stress at a dinner time. So for a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life. Yes. And of course, free shipping on your first box. You're going to go to homechef.com/pinkshade. homechef.com/pinkshade for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. You heard it right. homechef.com/pinkshade. You have to be an active subscriber to receive the free dessert. Do it and let me know what you ordered. So Sandoval and Schwartz and his new assistant slash only friend Craig are hanging out at Sandoval and Ariana's house. And why is Sandoval wearing a knife on his leg?
Well,
Why?
also, why is this guy sitting down when the house is such a mess? If you're like pick up something. I'm not paying you to sit here with your tattoos. But to your point, yes, for somebody that like it was funny to me to a point, and then I got like, yo, man, maybe don't wear the knife around your leg when you've talked about very dark times. You've talked about Kyle Chan having to come and take the guns out of your house. So you're just strolling around life with a knife on your leg? Like that to me was funny, but then the more I thought about it, was really scary to me of like,
I didn't like
yo,
it,
what?
and I didn't like his joke about cutting the dog
The
in half.
dog?
I was like, that's gross. That's not funny.
It's not funny at all, and especially just to his mental, state. I just to get a knife first off is that's a big purchase, but then to be like, I'd like to wear it around my leg, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna wear shorts so it shows off my knife leg holder thing, and to me that was just a bridge too far. I was like, gross.
Yeah, I agree. So Sandoval, starts to ask Schwartz to move in, and Schwartz is like, don't even say it. It's not happening. It's a bad look for me. Don't say it. And he says, yeah, it would be $6,000 a month for rent. And then Schwartz is like, are you out of your fucking mind? So Schwartz says he pays $4,500 a month for his 2-bedroom apartment. And Sandoval obviously pays $12,000 a month in mortgage.
Yeah, I would imagine so, yeah. And that's before the refi. If he has to refi, then that would potentially double, I think, right? I mean, you got to watch the Vanderpump Rules after show too, because Ariana went way more into all of the financial situation, which I thought was really needed because a lot of people seem to have like false assumptions about this house and, who owns what and Ariana staying in there. But it is the amount of money. And at some point, I mean, I hope by the end of the season that I just think it's another dumb move. Like, just go, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Why? So Schwartz is like, are you insane? And he's like, we could get like a co-loan. And Schwartz is like, I've already done that with you. Like, no, like, what are you talking about? So now we get the narrators again. Allie and James are talking. And she tells him about what happened at the donor party. And she was upset because there's no information on the birth chart because they didn't say where the donor was born. She was upset about that. So how could she pick one? And that was annoying to her. And she said that Lisa asked her about having babies. And she just tells James flat out, I've never been that girl. I've never been like, I'm dying to have kids. I want to have kids. I don't have a Pinterest board with my wedding and my ring. And I'm just never been that girl. It's not to say she can't become that girl, but she's a little bit like Ariana in that way, I guess. Yeah. And that's just not her thing.
So everybody come down on Allie then, because you sure came down on Ariana for not wanting kids.
Yeah. And he's like, we're a year and a half into this. And I do think you're my forever person. So I don't want to waste 5 years with you for you then to tell me that you don't ever want to have kids. She's like, I don't know if I'm going to come. I mean, how old is this girl? She's like 24. She's so young.
Yeah, I mean, I think
she's super young.
I think she's, I'm not sure actual age, but she looks very young. But also, it seems like she has a good head on her shoulders. Like, I mean, she seems like she's able to speak for herself and like actually stand up for what she wants, which I would imagine would be very important in a relationship with DJ James Kennedy, especially. And, it pulls at your heartstrings a little bit of like, oh, picture us with a family, Allie Dally. Oh, but you're like, hey, in good time. And I would imagine it's good that you take time, especially when you are a reality show couple. Smartest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah. And he's, struggled with sobriety and other issues. So, I mean, he needs to pull it all the way together before he needs to think about, bringing kids into it. I mean, they just got the house by the airport. I mean, slow your roll.
I mean, but just imagine the kids sleeping through like a constant flight pattern of Southwest flights. It's going to be hard.
You gotta have that sound machine on all the time so they won't know the difference.
Yeah.
So it's brunch at Tom Tom with DJ James Kennedy spinning his sick tunes, and he comes in and immediately apologizes to Sandoval. I'm sorry I said that, man.
Oh, thanks, dude.
I do
Thanks,
want a
dude.
DJ
I
at the
really appreciate that, dude.
Yeah, I do. That was weird, wasn't it? I didn't think they were gonna resolve that so
Oh,
quickly.
I thought this was another thing that's so funny about guys. It's just like huge explosion, really dark, hurtful things, and then it's just like, sorry. Oh, thanks, dude. Sorry too. Like that's it. They drop it.
Yeah,
Like
they drop
if
it.
it's a woman on Vanderpump Rules, we'll drag this out for years. I mean, like we'll go to war over the things the women say about each other. But that's what I mean. It is so funny. I think at the end of the day, we just don't give a lot of we don't give a lot of respect to what the men say. So even when they do like hit the nail on the head, you know they're just gonna like be fine anyway. So we don't really put a lot of stock in anything they say. We know
Yeah,
women actually think clearly, think a little bit more clear about things, and their emotions run sometimes way more deep in a very real way. So that's what I like will always be drawn to on Vanderpump. But the guys, it's like, God, you have this great argument, and then you're just like, hey, bro, sorry, bro. We're all good. Cool. Like, how?
yeah.
How would you be good? How?
After somebody said that stuff to you, I don't know. If somebody said these things to me that any of these people say on any of these shows, I would never recover.
Oh
So I'm
no.
definitely not
Game
making
over.
reality TV. Yeah, I would be like, well, that's it for me. So Lala, they're all sitting there. They're you talking, oh, the food is so great, blah, blah, blah. So Lala says to Allie, did you say that I said she's miserable? And Katie's like, that's what you said. And Allie goes, I mean, I don't know if that's exactly what you said, but I don't know.
According to your chart, you did say it.
According to your birth chart in the
Yeah,
third
according to your birth
moon is
chart,
when you did
yes.
that.
Whether did you also notice Ariana like chowing down on the food?
Yes.
She was like
Yes.
shoveling it in. I was like, God, good for her, man. She looked like
Good
she
for
had
her.
never like hadn't eat. I was like, this is how I eat.
Well, she's looking for that dining room table food and it's all expired.
She's it's all expired or she's lost it in some
Yeah.
sort of box collapse.
Uh, so Katie and Lala sort of like have this conversation about like I don't feel like you have time for me and we used to be such good friends last year and then Scheana chimes in with like Lala just needs people to check in with her every day and they both tear up and hug and Ariana while she's shoving the food in is trying to get a line in she's like can we all just sit in the bed together and snuggle. So funny.
That's what I told
uh
Scheana yesterday. Scheana yesterday, I was like, can't you guys just all get in a flipping group text and just say, let's all hang at Coachella. Let's all be nice. Can't we just can't we just all, the girls just all get along? Can't
yeah,
we? And Scheana
yes.
said they did have a group chat and then somebody started it. She didn't say who started it, but somebody started it and then nobody responded in the group text. Like they added all the ladies and just nobody responded. And I was like, oh man, that's dark.
That's funny. So Scheana walks up and to Sandoval and Schwartz. So Sandoval and Schwartz are talking, and Sandoval's trying to be like, "Yeah, my guy's got another property. There's Scheana right there." When my friend group, what we do is if somebody walks up and you're talking about them, you go, "Caw."
Well, that's not obvious at all. Like
No,
now you gave that away. Good.
yeah, but it's funny because everybody knows it. So when somebody walks up, you'll be like, "Caw," like to make them think you're talking about them. I have no
Well,
idea
this is
how that
what
started.
everybody on this reality show should be.
Yeah,
Nobody should be revealing any information to anyone on this show. Like, that's the funny thing. At this point, 11 seasons in, like, yeah, don't talk about, like, I mean, I know there's no show if you don't, but it is
right.
funny of like, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, be quiet when Scheana comes around. Yeah, be quiet
Oh
when,
God.
like, of course. Like, this is how the show works.
God, it was funny. And so Sandoval, she's like, how you doing? He goes, yeah, the last 3 days have been really rough on me. And I just feel like probably I'm never going to get any closure. And she goes, yeah, so none of us are. Anyway, I wrote a song about it. And he goes,
So
she's
great.
just not letting him be like, poor me. She's like, okay, yeah, we're all in the same boat here.
Yeah,
So she
Scheana's
goes,
having fun with it.
yeah, she goes, I wrote a song about it. And she goes, and one of the lines is, I went from a Ferrari to a Jetta, thought you would know better. And Schwartz goes, yeah, I mean, that could be anybody. And then his talking head, he goes, except for Rachel literally used to drive a
Yeah.
Jetta.
Listen,
Ferrari
I
to a
think
Jetta, I thought you knew better is a pretty good line.
I think Scheana is our Paul McCartney. Like she's like a
Wow.
combination of Lennon and McCartney. I think it
Wow.
rhymed. It had a meaning. I got a shot off. I loved it.
Wow. Wow. Well, we can agree to disagree on that. All right. So let's talk about the Valley. So we've got season 1, episode 5, the D word and D word divorce.
Divorce. Yeah.
So there's a lot of foreshadowing in this episode. which I liked. I liked.
Yeah. And
So
the preview for next week's episode already looks insanely good.
it's just
Like
the
it all
show is
pops
so
off.
good. The show
It
is so
really
good.
that's why I just like we're so quick to like say we don't need something. Like everybody with this show is like, "Oh, I don't need to watch who asked for this?" And it's like we got to give things a chance because there's some real darkness here. There's some really good reality show moments
Yes.
and they're
Yes.
only 5 episodes in. Like
Yeah.
I mean, we want things to continue. We want new things to talk about. Here it is. This is it.
Yeah, I agree with you. So there's two premises of this episode, right? There's going to be a Malibu beach party at Nia's friend's house, which the production kept saying Nia's friend's house, which is funny. And then Jax is going to have a pool day with the guys. So these are the two situations we're working with here. First of all, Brittany's getting ready. And I want people, if they're watching, to notice when she comes downstairs and was like, "Hey, Jax, I'm getting ready to go." When she comes down, she turns, and on the inside section of one of her bosoms is the biggest bruise I've ever seen in my life. Did you notice this?
I just know I did notice the outfit and the extreme amount of cleavage, but I
Yeah.
did not notice the bruise.
Okay. You don't see it again on the episode because the rest of it is like in the car when she's like shoving in Cheetos or whatever. But when she's talking to Jack, she's leaning and moving, and there's a giant bruise on her boob.
Well, don't you think that's like probably her son like banging his head into her chest or something like that?
It could be a kid thing, but
because it doesn't seem like Jax is going near those things.
no, I don't think so. But it just was like, wow, pick a different outfit if your bosom
If you're
is
bruised, yeah.
Yeah. So we're supposed to believe now that Jax is Mr. Mom. He's the only one that cleans the house. He's the only one that cleans up the yard. It's just without him, the whole place would fall apart.
Yep.
Yep. So Brittany
He's extremely organized, you guys. He wants you to know he's extremely type A and organized. He needs things done.
He can't stand it when it's messy. So Brittany tells Janet in the car that Jackson a text and says, "Okay, Jackson a text said, y'all get drunk and have fun. We love you." And but he gives me a hard time if I come home after a night of drinking. And then we see a clip of Jax like we know him and love him. He's walking around holding the baby, and she's hungover, and he says, "You want more kids? You want to be a mom? Act like one."
Yeah, pull it together. Pull it together, woman.
What a dick.
I mean, truly a dick. I mean, the only thing I would say, like, if there was a leg to stand on, if this was repeated behavior day after day after day, but like, if you're encouraging, then, and also if there's an issue, then also after that scene, don't send a text going, "Have a great girls' night, enjoy yourselves, get tipsy." Don't send texts like that then. Like, you confuse the message. But we know Jax. He just likes to bitch and moan about things, about other people's good times sometimes. Like, he's just miserable inside.
Let's also remember that Brittany's mom is in town to help. So let me tell you what, I can tell you when my kids were little, if I had a babysitter or somebody staying at my house, I'd be like, "Tonight's the night," because I don't have to do anything tomorrow because I've got a babysitter here. So she's probably like, I not only do I have my husband there who told me to go and have fun, my mom is in town to play with the kid.
And Jax is lucky. Like, he gets a night away from Brittany. He gets to hang with his boys in his house. He doesn't have to drive anywhere in his little golf cart. He doesn't have to go to Malibu. He gets to stay there. But I just think, like, Jax is one of those people that, like, you can just tell his internal rage. He just clocks things. He's like, this is something she did against me. I encouraged it at first, but now this is an assault against me, Jax Taylor.
Yeah, I think that's right. So Janet in her confessional is like, "Yeah, I mean, I do think Brittany sometimes gets a little too lit, but she's married to Jax, so I'll be honest, I don't know."
I like to party. I like to cut loose. Yeah.
Oh my God. If we got one more scene of her going, "Woo! Okay, let's party. Party, girls night. Woo!"
And then this is what living with Jax Taylor does. Do you notice she's this permanent down when she talks, she's like a down.
Well, you know why though.
Why?
What? Quit doing that.
Why?
Because of that lipo on her chin.
Oh, Kybella?
No, she had lipo. She had Kybella a couple years ago because she posted about it because she got it for free. She had lipo on her chin, which is totally different. That's like go under. Kybella is in the doctor's office with Botox, and you do 12 across. You do it 3 times. Didn't work. So she, and it doesn't work for some people. She had actual chin liposuction. It's the same as you would get on your stomach or your legs. It's actually a surgical procedure that people get. Sometimes instead of a lower facelift, they just get this part sucked out. So I know a lot about this. She had chin liposuction, a full surgery but it's dangerous because there is a nerve there that they can cut that when pull your mouth down. So
Oh
that is what
my
happened to her.
gosh.
And she has said now it's fine now because it's
Okay.
healed. But that's why I think that when they greenlit this show, it was like, we're starting in 1 week. Because no way would any person choose to go on reality television 8 weeks after having twins.
Oh my gosh, that was my heart went out to her.
Yeah. So
To
I think that
Nia? Oh my
when they greenlit
goodness.
it, I think when they greenlit it, like we got to go because I don't think Brittany would have ever chosen to start it right then when she was just recovering from that. The whole season, her face is going to look
Oh,
like that.
but
She said,
and then the one like they have two separate talking heads for Brittany, and I know it's not it's uncouth to talk about women's looks, and I'm sorry, but it is startling to watch the two different talking heads because in one, I thought somebody was making like doctored memes, but there really is this pulled back thing where it
yeah,
gives her like a little bit of a like a Joker slight, like a
and the
slight Joker.
eyebrows, and the
Yeah, like
eyebrows
it's
are way up.
and that
Yes,
and to your point of maybe rushing things through is that these things haven't settled yet. It's like that one season of Orange County when Vicky Gunvalson came on and her
yeah,
facelift hadn't settled yet, and everybody was
right,
like, "Whoa, what the hell?" Like that's
yes, and
I get
still very swollen.
and I feel
Yes,
bad for Brittany because I know she's in a relationship that maybe Jax doesn't make her feel the most beautiful. And like,
right.
so I feel bad about those things, like about, cause I know that matters to her. And yeah, I don't know. I feel bad. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
did you
mean,
see what Dodie did? Like Dodie with the sculpting of the body and her post yesterday where she showed the before and after. And I was like,
yeah,
man, like good for her. But at the same time, I hate my body so much. You would never, I don't care if you give me a free new body. I am not going to make an Instagram post showing off my before and after. Like there's just no way in hell. Like I can't believe I just feel for these people sometimes.
I would like to say out loud to anybody listening, if you want to give me a free body, I will post it on Instagram. I'll put it on TikTok, Instagram. I'll go live during the surgery. I don't care. If anybody wants to
no,
give me some lipo, I'll take it.
oh my
No, but I know what
god.
I know what you're saying, but for the Britney thing, I people were like, what's with this? Really
Yeah.
what it is, it's not necessarily the frown, is that she can't move her bottom lip. So when you talk and your
Oh,
bottom lip doesn't move, and it's just a top, it looks
it
like
goes. Yeah, it goes down.
so. But
Wow,
now in the most recent confessional that they introduced last night, when
it
she's
goes up.
talking, you could see her teeth. So
Ooh.
just notice when she's talking, you can't see her bottom teeth because this doesn't move. But now when she's talking, it is. So it's healed up what they've just recently recorded as a talking head. But she pulled her eyebrows way up, which
Yeah,
is
way up.
wild. But it is hard to watch because she is such a beautiful woman. That's obviously why Jax was attracted to her in the first place. She's so gorgeous. And then to have a baby and then feel bad about yourself and then be struggling with your kid and your marriage, it's all going to show on your face. And then also, by the way, if you're drinking a ton, that surgery stuff is never going to heal because your face is going to stay so puffy.
Oh wow.
I got a lot
God,
of insight into this
I
one.
know you know a lot about that. This is actually great information. But I will say this is another thing that I think is good about the Valley is just these little things because it's what I talk about the 360 viewing experience is that it's not even what they're saying. It's just the fact that they do look so different in the talking heads. Cause then you're thinking psychologically what this person is going through. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, they're really trying to step it up for the show, their husband, and they're putting their bodies and their faces through like really intense procedures to do this. And to me,
Yeah.
that I'm like, and to me, that's entertainment.
Oh, you were like earlier, like the show is so dark, it's amazing. So,
Yes.
so they arrive at the beach house. So Kristen's doing that thing. Oh, I think I might be a little sick. And so I took and everybody's just rolling their eyes like, girl, you had sex yesterday. Like you don't have morning sickness. Like everybody's kind of rolling their eyes. But then Michelle does say something pretty awful, which is, please don't have a kid. We don't need more of you around. I didn't like
The,
that.
The only
That's not
I
nice,
didn't like
Michelle.
that. I didn't like that either. And the only thing that I can think that why she said that is that Dodie knows where the bodies are buried.
Mhm,
Dodie
mhm,
knows who she cheated on, who she allegedly might have cheated on her husband with, and maybe
mhm.
that's why she says that in the talking head, like
Well,
in
then Michelle should be real
post.
nice to her.
Yeah, but I think
Mm.
she said in the talking head after realizing that this comes out potentially.
Could be, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I think.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right. They did it later. So the ladies are going to do a real thing that ladies do, which is sip wine and paint and talk about their intentions and all
Is
this
this really
stuff.
what you like? Is this what you like to do? Do you like the? I like the wine part, but do you like to
There's
paint?
so much. Let's go to sip and paint. Sip and paint.
Is that
A lot of
it's?
sip and
But
paints.
last week with Kristen, with Katie Maloney and her dating
Yeah,
that young girl Tori, they did a paint date, and I'm like,
yeah.
what is this? It's just like, is this what we do now?
Sometimes it's fun, but usually it's not.
Yeah.
Um, so they have to set intention, and Kristen starts talking about her intention is peace. And it's
Mhm.
hard for her because she's such an empath, to which you get all these reactions, everybody going, what? What? Um, and then on Watch What Happens Live, they asked Schwartz if he thought Kristen was an empath. He's like, ish, empathish. So Nia talks about her postpartum, which is important, and I'm glad she's talking about it. And she says, she explains how it feels is the wave of depression, washing over you. And I was really glad that she was able to not only like discuss it because she does look so beautiful and perfect. What a perfect life. They've got this nanny, they've got these 3 kids, she's got this great husband, the only one on the show that's nice. And she's obviously a Miss USA. She's incredibly gorgeous. It's interesting to hear her talk about it and how I know how to make everything look okay when it's not. I thought it was really important that she did all that and explained it so well. I don't know. I just think that sometimes on these shows, actually somebody watching it could be like, that's exactly how I felt, you
To me,
know? Yeah.
she's a reliable narrator. I really I trust her, and I think it's very brave to open up about something that she's actually feeling.
Hmm.
And as somebody that struggles with depression, it's so hard to sometimes vocalize what you're feeling or what you're not feeling. And
Hmm.
I can't imagine what it's like 8 weeks postpartum, and for somebody that also allegedly is feeling not, but is feeling these things sometimes for the first time in their life, it can be a
Hmm.
really scary feeling because you can't just snap your mind out of it. It's not like like you can take medicine, but like there's no kind of magic solution. And it's a really scary place to be. And I
Yeah.
felt for her so much. And I loved, and I don't want to give too many kudos to the husband because it's all her, but I love this, that he was very like, I totally support you. Of course. Yes. I fully support this. I'm glad you're talking about this. That's what relationships should be like, is people
Yeah.
supporting each other through hard times.
Yeah. You can't imagine if Brittany was like, said that, Jackson would be like,
Oh,
pull it together,
well,
woman. Do you want to
yeah,
be a mother or not?
yeah. You want another kid with this shit? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right. So I think they are a really, really good, example of a good
Yeah,
relationship. And Lord, please keep them safe. So, hey, it's hot in the valley, so there's going to be a pool party.
we get it.
Jesse talks about how horrible Isabella is when she's with Michelle, but look at
She's
her
an angel.
when she's with me, she's the angel. Huh. So they ask him how therapy's going. He's like, "Oh, it's a disaster. It's horrible. Everybody hates everybody." And he also tells us that about a year ago, Michelle applied for an apartment and told him she was leaving. And he asked for a second chance and he listened to what she had to say. And she gave him the second chance and he's giving her the space to kind of figure out what she needs. And then Jesse makes a joke about, like, what if I got my 8-pack back? Maybe she'd be more attracted to me. Now, this is when Jack says, I don't know, man, because Michelle's hanging out with Beep right now. And they talk about how Beep goes to the Chateau Marmont and Beep is a director. And Jesse says, yeah, like, when she was hanging out with Beep, I told her, man, hike up her skirt, pull your blouse down. Like, they're trying to like get this real estate deals. And Luke says, seems like most people wouldn't be comfortable with that. And Jesse goes, yeah, but guess what? If she does something, I could tell Isabella for the next 14 years that her mom fucked everything up.
The amount
This
of
is,
glee he had when he said that, the amount of glee, like the amount of glee that came
he's
out of
awful.
his, it
He's
really was
awful.
wild. But if you did
So awful.
the bleeping in the director, that's why, I mean, a lot of people were saying Quentin Tarantino, but I don't think it's Tarantino just because the timing of the beeps, even if you said Quentin or if you said Tarantino,
That takes
it
a
would
long
be,
time.
it takes a long time. My theory is Michael Bay, the director of like all the Transformers films and like big action movie director, been around forever.
Yeah,
Michael Bay is interesting. Somebody said Spike Jones, which I
I don't
found a
see
little
that.
harder to believe,
Isn't
but
he married to
also
Sofia Coppola? Spike
no,
Jones?
used to be,
Okay.
yeah. But so I, but then Michael Bay also has been known to date a lot of playmates, and I think Michelle is beautiful, but I don't think she's a playmate. So it's a lot of. But by the way, guys, I hate to break it to you, there's a lot of probably creepy directors in Hollywood that we probably aren't even thinking about. So, but that those are.
In what world is it Randall?
Oh my God. Could you even, if there is a Randall Emmett tie in on the Valley, I would lose. I mean, by the way, if that happens, I will post my before and after pics on Instagram.
Okay.
I will,
Okay.
if that happens, I will do a before and after on Instagram. Could you even imagine? But we know he likes blondes.
Ryan, that was my first thought.
But we
My
know he
first
like
thought was he was Saint
Randall likes
Randall.
the same type of blonde. Ronald, and the thing with Michael Bay though
Um,
is that Michelle follows Michael Bay on Instagram.
okay, but that means nothing.
Well, she doesn't follow I mean, like if she's actually actively working with this man in the like terms of like real estate and stuff, you probably would follow one of
Yeah.
your high earning clients.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I don't even know if Tarantino has Instagram, right?
No, well,
He
that's
would
a
seem to be too
Tarantino.
cool.
I mean, he's married, he has a newborn, and he just opened the Vista Theater, reopened that. Like he's really busy. Of course, I think he of course hangs out at the Chateau Marmont, but it's hard for me. It's also hard for me to imagine Michelle not getting completely annoyed with Quentin Tarantino just
Anybody
because
would.
he's like, here's the deal, man. I'll tell you when I was working on Pulp Fiction, man. Like, I just can't imagine. It would be like it would be like Jesse Lally in a sense, even though I love
Yeah.
some of Quentin's movies.
Yeah, I think that there's probably lots and lots of choices. But let me ask you with that comment of like, he says, maybe she'd like me better if I had my 8-pack back. And they're like, she's hanging out with this guy. Did you take that to mean that guy, the director, is super hot? Or to mean like that guy, the director, is a troll? So in comparison, Jesse, you are hot. I
I
couldn't
thought it
quite
was,
tell.
I see, really, it was very vague, but I would have rather. See, that's a great point. I didn't really think of it in the sense because he's hanging out with this guy. I almost just thought it was in reference to his power, not his looks of like, it doesn't matter what you look like, you got to be powerful. But Michael
Okay.
Bay is not bad looking.
Hmm.
He's really decent looking. Tarantino obviously is Tarantino. Um, so
It's
that
not
would actually,
Tarantino.
yeah,
It's not.
I think
It's not.
they're trying to push that on, somebody sent me that on Reddit. They're trying to push
No.
that. I just don't think it is. I don't think there's a world in which that is true. Not to say that he wouldn't, but I really go with Michael Bay on this one. But
Okay.
I'm sure.
All
But
right.
by the
Well,
way, it will be uncovered. Mark my
it will
words.
be uncovered
By the way,
by the time.
should I just text Dodie right now and just ask who it is? I wonder if I
Yeah,
should
I'd
do
love to know who it is. And if it's Randall, everybody, you heard it here first. Ryan Bailey will take the free liposuction and do it live on the air. We'll go side by side. We'll go side by side. Um,
that.
all right. So at the Malibu house, Michelle is talking to Brittany, and she's explaining about the marriage with Jesse. She says, when I had Isabella, it was during COVID, and he was around a lot. He was so helpful, but when the restrictions lifted and he went back to work, he wasn't involved at all. And then I felt very resentful, and now it's hard to get it back. That feeling of love for him, because 3 years is a long time to feel resentful. And I'm feeling the same way I was a year ago, and that I want to leave. And I know that this constant fighting and bickering is not good for our daughter. We've seen it just a little. So imagine how they are when cameras aren't in their house, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to
Yeah.
me, but last week's episode, they got all hot and bothered because Michelle stood up for herself at that party. And then they were like talking about like, oh man, that was attractive when you did that. And I thought it was so funny when couples come together that hate each other just because they like,
Have a common enemy.
they have a common enemy and that like
Yeah.
turns them on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there is, obviously they're split up right now. So we see where this is going. but I think it's just another reminder of like, man, relationships are so tough. And also, if you are a certain way, like it's like that first, like we were talking about with Sandoval and Racquel, like that first wave of like love for somebody that's so tied with like sexuality and all, it can be
Yeah.
so so captivating, but that can like wear off. And then you like see who that person really is. And Jesse, no offense, has not come off like a great person already. So imagine
Mm-mm.
it's like living under that tyranny and of somebody that cocky. And it just sometimes is like that probably is not attractive for certain women.
No, and he's such a jerk to her. So now we get Luke in his talking head, and he basically goes, "Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I know a secret that can blow up their whole marriage." So obviously, it's this director, whoever it is.
You can see the
Um,
Kristen Doty like seeping into him. You can see him
yep,
really changing because every one of Luke's talking
yep,
heads should be literally like, I don't know what the f I'm doing here. Get me back to Colorado. I
yeah,
miss my acreage.
yes. But now all of a sudden, he's like, "I know some shit."
Yeah.
So back at the beach house, the girls are doing truth or dare. And Brittany goes, "What's the most embarrassing thing you did on a date?" "Okay, I'll tell you. We were on the boat in Florida. It was like stingray season. And I really had to go to the bathroom. Like my tummy was rumbling. And so I just got in the ocean and I was like pooping it out. And I was like, "Oh, the stingrays are eating my poop." I was like, this is the worst
No, it's
story
funny.
I've
I
ever heard
looked
in my
I
life.
looked up local newspapers in that area during that time. There was like a stingray extinction. Like there was a lot of stingrays that died in that area. I'm not going to say it's Brittany, but I'm going to say a lot of stingrays died. So I don't know. I don't know if I
That
can
is
put that two and two together.
so disgusting.
Wait,
So,
also so attractive for Jack. Jax, I'm pooping on stingrays. They're eating my poop.
but we know he famously poops with the doors open and talks to people.
Yes,
So
but
maybe
Jax
they're
doesn't
meant for
consider
each other.
Jax needs control over somebody, and he's the one that's going to say if something's disgusting. His own behavior does not need to be talked about.
Oh, God. So then they talk about when was the last time you had sex? And by the way, I'm just going to tell you for you people out there, married ladies do not sit around to talk about this.
That's
We
what I
just
was
don't.
wondering too. I was like, is this? It seems like, and on Bravo recently, between this and Summer House and shows of like that, it's like I feel like I know, like I'm like this is like my Catholicism really coming out. Like I'm feeling like I know too much. Like I'm like, can we die? Like I feel like Puritan. I'm like I don't need to know. I don't need to know if you finished. I don't need to know how many times.
Nope.
You can like
Mm-mm.
vaguely,
Positions,
yeah,
nothing.
like
I
you,
don't need.
I like and good on you that you feel that comfortable, but maybe that's part of the problem in the first place.
I don't need to know. Mm-mm. So Brittany says it's been a month and a half. And then, of course, Kristen's like, I don't know. I don't have any problems. Maybe she's find a 32-year-old. I don't know. We're just banging it out all the time. We get it. Oh my God, you have a lot of sex. We get it. So Brittany then kind of talks about how mean Jax is and how he puts her down. Shocker.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I just don't feel attractive." And they're like, "Did you tell him this?" And she's like, I have told him, like, "Well, you have to communicate it, because he probably doesn't know." Of course he knows. And then she makes a great point. She was like, "I have stood by him and taken up for him when he has literally, was a felon in Hawaii. Like I have done,
Yeah.
he screwed somebody while an old lady was asleep in the next room. I have stood by him through everything. And, then he treats me this way." And she, yeah, great point. And then you
Yeah.
married him in the first place. So the next morning, of course, Brittany's very hungover. And did you notice the product placement of the wine bottles on the kitchen counter?
Yeah,
They're
Janet's
all lined
Aveline.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and Brittany's hungover. She's like, "I'm gonna throw up. I can't believe I said Bloody Marys. Ugh." So Janet's in there making food, and they go up, and Kristen has left half. They're like, Kristen left, but she left like her car keys, her wallet, her cell phone, and her vape. Like, how did she get wherever she was going? Like, that's just Kristen. So, by the way, Nia had left in the middle of the girls' night because the air condition. Listen, let me tell you what: if the air conditioner goes out and you've got like the nanny there and 3 crying children, I don't blame him for being like, "Can you please come home?" Like,
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
Obviously, yes.
I didn't begrudge him
That was
that.
a different situation. Yes.
Yeah. So she's talking to him, and they're talking about the girls' night, and she says like what Brittany said about their sex life. She's like, "Well, one thing is like, at least we don't have that." And they talk about their rock and sex life. And then she's so cute. She's like, "Oh my gosh, like our child's going to see this one day." I was like, thank you. Somebody has realized it on these shows that one day your child could see this. You're talking about when you were conceived, when your kid was conceived, like, TMI. But then she talks about the postpartum with him, and this is where you were saying, like, he was being so sweet and understanding about it. It's like, we're here for you, whatever you need. I'm glad you're talking about. I mean, the alternative is she doesn't talk about it and gets worse and worse and worse. I mean, so these two are just a great example of how to talk to each other, and
Yeah.
Now we're at Jax and Brittany's. Jax has veneers, and he wonders, should he even brush his teeth? The teeth are all fake. This is the moneymaker.
Yeah.
So a full set of veneers is like $100,000, isn't it, Ryan? It's like really
Now
expensive.
that I'll do before and after on, folks. I will
Okay.
gladly accept veneers. I will, if anybody's running a veneer institute, please consider to sign me up.
Okay, Veneer Institute of America, please reach out to So Bad It's Good with Ryan.
But my
Bailey.
veneer before and after, they make me show
Yes.
my whole body for some reason. I'm like, why do I have to pull my whole body in this? It's just
Do
the
you know
veneers.
on Darcy and Stacy, when they went and got their new veneers in Turkey, they already had veneers, but they got new veneers in Turkey. When they take the veneers off, and what's underneath is your actual teeth that they file into tiny little shark teeth.
Yeah.
And they show that, you're like, oh. So if Kyle Richards got rid of her teeth, that's what her teeth would look like.
That would be amazing if one day, like the thing they make veneers out of, there's like an expiration date on everybody's veneers, and all of a sudden, just people are walking out with like tiny little like nub teeth. Would be all reality shows, just like tiny nub teeth people.
I'm so interested in veneers because it's like, then what if you do get like a problem in your tooth, like if there's a cavity or something, you have to get a root canal, they got to take the whole system out. Like what happens?
And then also, does God get upset at you because he's like, I gave you that set of teeth and you didn't think I knew what I was doing? Like if God exists, like I do wonder if he gets upset, or if like one of the Kardashians come up there, he's like, who the hell are you? You're not the person I made. Wait, you're Chloe? Are you kidding me? That's literally not what I made. Like, I do wonder sometimes about things like that.
He might be more upset about the waste of money that could be helping people.
No, he's completely fine with the money. He's really just upset about the looks.
His creation. Okay. God is shallow. So, Brittany puts Cruz to bed, and the irony of Brittany and Jax sitting and talking about this drinking problem when Brittany is wearing a shirt of Jax shit-faced all over, like Andy Warhol style.
Oh, yeah.
She's wearing a shirt of him in a very famous drunken scene, and he's trying to talk to her about how much she drinks, looking at himself looking like that.
But also talk about the power dynamic, the fact that she would wear a shirt of her husband to have a conversation with her husband. Like, already you're giving up power in that conversation by like, I have a shirt with you on it. Doesn't he? Like, I mean, I love the point that he's wasted in the shirt and how ridiculous and hypocritical that is. But the fact that like she's even wearing a shirt of like, it's just like, yeah, man, you're a fan. I
thought she would just be like, I'm really going to stick it to him by showing him this picture of that time he was drunk.
See, I don't even think it was that thought out. I think that's brilliant, but I don't think it's thought out like that with her. I think she probably has a stack of Jack shirts.
Yeah, she does, for sure. The ones that didn't sell on their website or whatever. I'm the number one guy in the group. So he's saying, like, I don't understand why you have to go out and get so drunk that you throw up. She's like, Jax, you do that all the time. He's like, no, I don't. He's like, I did this. I was home and in bed by 12. She's like, well, I was in bed by 11:30. Now I was sleeping in my own vomit, but I was still in bed.
I was pooping on Malibu stingrays, but I was asleep.
Malibu stingrays. Oh God. So then they talk. He's like, "Why do you do that?" And he goes, "I went out with Zach. Blah blah blah." And then he says, "I do worry a little bit about this behavior with her. I mean, it's California. She can smoke a joint." I was like, "Okay." So then
I love that Jax is like, "You could be here doing drugs.
Be here and do drugs with me like a real wife would."
I know, it's just like, hey man, like I'm no cop, but like that's a funny thing to say when you're trying to like rein in certain behavior.
Oh, so she tells him about the Jesse Michelle thing, and she's like, and I just said like Jax is my best friend, and he's my best friend, and they just really hate each other, and I do not want us to be in that same place in a year. Well,
they should have like flash forwarded.
Flash forward. And so they are talking about, he's like, how deep did you get into it with our sex life? And she goes, well, I mean, the ladies, as they do, every married lady goes around and talks about it once a week. No, we don't. Their sex life. And she says, I said it'd been a month and a half. He's like, it hadn't been that long. She goes, it has, Jix. And she says, I just feel like you're not attracted to me. And I need like words of affirmation. If you just tell me he's like, oh, of course I do. I do all that stuff.
He's like, I do it. I do all of that. What are you talking about? Are you an
Stupid.
idiot? Yeah.
So she goes, no, you don't. So he explains that he's stressed out because he had so many years of like the phone not ringing and whatever when he got fired off the other show. And now he's got 30 cameos to do in a day. And now he has a bar and now he didn't have anything to do. And now he's got too much to do. And he's like, I'm just stressed out. And when you're messed up here, it doesn't work down there. Same with Gino and Jasmine.
I'm sorry to laugh. Yeah. But it is interesting to have an episode where you have like Nia having like a real like actual conversation about mental health. And then sometimes I feel like Jax has always weaponized it or used it as an excuse. And I think those are two different things. Like I like to always point out that Jax was offered free therapy by Randall Emmett of all people. And even Lala was like, he never took it. He never took it. Like the man will do anything but actually go to therapy and do what he needs to do to work on up here.
Yeah. I think that's exactly right. And so then he's like, I'm stressed out. And so like, I'm sorry, we have to work on that. And she goes, well, we ain't going nowhere because we are thick ass thieves. The D word don't exist around here. No, sirree, Bob. That sign says Couchy Household Established 2017. So he's like, yeah.
By the way, that sign's probably going to wind up in my house. It's going to wind up in my reality show museum. So like, like that's what, like, it's always bad when you have some sort of sign or neon sign about your love. That's a bad sign.
And then are you going to get the one that's in Kyle's, the one that's in Kyle's foyer that says like, bitch looks good or whatever, that neon sign Kyle's got in her foyer. That'll be next. Amazing. And then he's like, our sexy time will last 2 minutes. Should we try butt stuff? He's like, oh, Jax, stop.
Jax, no, that's only meant for pooping on stingrays, Jax. That's not meant for you.
My mama's right here.
Well, remember, it was real on Vanderpump Rules that she did let him do it back there. Remember?
Trying to remember. So much butt stuff gets talked about on this show. I know Tamara talks about how she likes butt stuff. I don't remember her saying she let him do it.
The one Real Housewives of Dallas lady, what was her name? Stephanie Holman. They would always talk about it. And I was like, damn. It's like right up there with like talk. Yeah. Like, I don't need to know. Like, I don't like whatever you want to do in the privacy of your own home or your car, like go for it. But no.
Yeah. Or your car.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Jesse and Michelle, this is very sad. So they're talking business stuff about escrow and rentals and whatever. And she's folding clothes. And they talk about how miserable they are and how much they hate each other. And he says, look, I really do want to work on it. Like, I want to go back to how we were before, like right when we had Isabella. Like, I want us to be a team. I want to work on this. And he's kind of tearing up while he's talking to her. And she goes, I mean, I'm going to try, but I can't promise anything.
Yeah. The amount of emotion, like you can just tell right there. Like she's
like,
and you can tell she's like almost being guilted into staying. Yeah. And he's like foot on the gas with that too. Like he can tell as well. Like we're stupid, but we're not stupid. Like he knows, like at this point, that's done for like,
but he's not nice to her. He's
exactly.
not.
But he's not going to be able to change
nice
that.
To her.
He's not going to be able to change that. It's just that she realizes that's not for her.
It's wild.
So it's like just the fact that you want to be together, but you don't want to change your own behavior doesn't mean you just automatically get to stay together because, like you got married. Like we live in a day and age where that doesn't exist really anymore. Not unfortunately, but sometimes fortunately you realize like I'm divorced. Like sometimes you realize you can't live, like that. Things happen and you realize there are certain behaviors that can't change or you can't kind of move on in the way you would want to.
I mean, we even saw her this week, like packing for her trip and she's trying to be fun and flirty with him. She's like, look at my fun shoes. Do you think these are cute? And he's like, fine.
Yeah. Ugh.
Can I throw away this kid painting? Ugh.
He will be happier without her as well eventually.
I think he's happier without her now because, I mean, she's not really there. She's very checked out. And I do think it's a this caused this is what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Like Now
Yeah.
she's unhappy, and now that he's trying to backtrack, it's like, well, maybe now you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, or how
Yeah, it's really
many.
hard. I
Yeah,
mean, it is sad if you think about the reality of that situation, but it's also sad that this happens and you also agree to go on a reality show knowing that this is where you're on or are in a relationship. That's the part that sometimes makes me aghast is like, fudge, like going through what I went through. I would have never agreed to put any of that on reality. Like never in a million years. No, gosh, no.
that's another thing. If you text Kristen, another thing I'd like to know is when this started happening, did they just all of a sudden go, okay, we're going to start filming in 2 weeks? Like, did they give them a short amount? They weren't
Yeah,
totally ready.
it has to be. It has to be running. They all of a sudden were like, we got to go now. Hey, Mary Payne, I got to do a 2 p.m. interview.
Okay, let's go.
So with Jesse Solomon. So from
Let's log
Summer House.
out.
Okay, sorry. I just did.
All right, we're going to log out. Everybody follow So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. That's where you find him on Instagram. That's where you find him on the podcast. And if you're listening to me and you don't know me because you love Ryan, please follow me on Instagram.
Yeah. And Mary Payne's going to be on my, sorry, at Pink Shade Pod, but Mary Payne's going to be on my show in a couple of weeks. So make sure you check that out. But I hope you guys I hope you enjoyed today. I hope some people enjoyed it.
Yes. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye, Mary Payne.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.